Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to call this Grubernation Live going forward. Every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I plan to go live and be here to talk to all of you about just stuff, things that are going on. And this week, I want to dive into a few different topics. One is the power outage. If you guys heard about it, it was a national power outage in the Dominican Republic. I'll go into that. I'll share what I've learned. Disclaimer, not an electrician. I don't play one on TV, but I learned a bunch, and I'll share information like a reporter, and then a few thoughts perhaps. Second, I want to talk about Governor Kathy Hochul's visit here to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to play you guys, if I can figure out how to, a quick video of her, about 2 minutes worth, announcing what exactly it was about. And then three, yours truly, was invited to the Free Trade Zone launch here in Punta Cana, the logistics hub. So I got to go to that. My first time ever in a room with a sitting president of any country. It was my first ever time in a room with the president of a sitting country. And it was like me to here, me to there from him, like me to you, whatever that means. It was close. And holy crap, the motorcade. I mean, you expect it, but it was like some of these dudes got out like in their fatigues, like, whoa, don't mess with that guy. I live WhatsApp in our inner circle WhatsApp groups, like everything. I'm sharing photos, videos that are popping up. What I learned so much. And I met ministers that came over to me because they watched my content and got some numbers and everything else. And I'm going to plug it. All of this stuff is where I share in the inner circle. I share all this in the inner circle. You guys get a lot. I give the public as much as I can, but there's more. I go deeper in the inner circle. JamieGruber.com if you want to check it out and join us. It is a costly $9 a month. You can pay $90 for the year if you prefer, and that saves you 2 months worth. But it's awesome. Our WhatsApp groups are engaged. We're meeting in person. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. If you're moving, if you've moved, if you live here, if you don't, if you're interested, if you're investing, all there. And we even have subtopic categories on like just technology, sports, you name it. It's a crazy cool community. Those are the topics. Blackout, Kathy Hochul, and I'm going to talk about my time at the Zona Franca when I went there for the inauguration. Let's talk about the blackout. Here's what we know. The outage began at 1:23 p.m. on Tuesday. So this is Friday, November 14th. That would have been Tuesday 11th, whatever that was. It originated at the San Pedro substation, the transmission substation. And what happened was a triggering of grid instability. Let me see what other notes I have, because there's the whole point on power generation versus transmission that I want to get into. And again, not a guy on this. Like, I don't even know how to turn on a breaker in my own home. I'm terrible with this stuff. But again, learned a bunch, and I'll tell you what I got. The confirmation right now is simply a transmission failure, not a generation shortage. Now, in reading this, and some of you may have a better take on this. So I'd love to hear in the comments if you know electricity and you know all this stuff, please. But I'm going to tell you what I've learned, and I even spoke to an inner circle member who works on major power grids around the world, not even in the Dominican Republic. He lives here, but he travels around the world to the United States, to South America, and all of that. So not generation, but transmission. That was interesting for me to read and research, but then also hear from him separately. It was like validation. And man, I mean, the impact, right? So you had metro, cable cars, the Santo Domingo rail, all went down. People were stranded. It's awful, terrible power outage. And it impacted a lot of the country. But here's what I want to clarify. It did not impact the entire country. I did an Instagram reel on this. Yeah, Luis, exactly. So Luis said it right here. I did an Instagram reel on this. If you lived in Punta Cana, whether that's Punta Cana Village, Punta Cana Resort, Cap Cana, which if you're not familiar, kind of like the higher end, but all the way up to Ubero Alto for that matter, unless somebody's going to correct me on this, power was not lost. That is the CEPM area. I was even told by many in La Romana, not everybody, that power in La Romana was never lost. And there were neighborhoods in Naco, in Santo Domingo, like Naco, I'm sure Piantini, that kept power. Those might have been more generator kicking on, like the buildings have backups. But the CEPM grid, if you will, and again, somebody's gonna be like, no, man, it's not the grid. It's actually, I don't know, but you guys get my point. The CEPM grid and then the more private grids that Punta Cana Resort and Cap Cana have. They have kind of their own power generation. Those weren't touched. They weren't impacted. Now, why or how? Better infrastructure, perhaps. I don't know. But we got nothing. We saw nothing. People were like, what do you think of the outage? I'm like, what outage? The national outage. I'm like, what? In the United States? Was the power out? But no, much of the country, Santiago, Santo Domingo, a lot of areas lost power. And yeah, that's what happened on it. So let me see what happens here. Hi, Jamie from DR. No. That's not the one. So they turned off all the poor communities' power so your economic class can use air conditioning all day. No. What happened? I mean, that's a cynical way of looking at it, I suppose. But what happened was the transmission. What is it called? I found the word someplace. It was like they called it like a cascading transmission failure. That's it. A cascading transmission failure. So it's like, here's the power source and there's plenty of it coming in. That's, I think, a bit of like what I'm learning, a bit of a misconception that there's not enough power generated in the Dominican Republic, like coming in. And that's not true. There's enough power. The issue is the infrastructure that takes that power and pushes it out to the rest of the country in many places. Infrastructure that is in the process of being upgraded, but still issues. So essentially, I think of it like in your own home. There was a short, we'll say, in the transmission. What I'm reading, not an expert, short in the transmission. And that caused the generator to trip, like the generation of power to trip. So the thing that takes the power in and pushes it out tripped, stopped working. That's the initial assessment. There's not a final on this yet. There's still an investigation going on, but that's the initial assessment. If you look at, and I did, the power outage in 2003 on the East Coast. If I don't know if you remember that, if you're old enough to, but I remember a major power outage on the East Coast, like all of New York City. There was a power outage in the Southwest, Arizona, San Diego, like 5-10 million people impacted. The East Coast was 50 million. There was a power outage in Spain, Portugal. It was all something to do with either human error, and that might be the case here, or some sort of like mechanical failure in the transmitter or the thing that pushes the transmitter, whatever the hell that thing is. That is what the object of the failure was. Now, does that make anybody feel better? No. Does it mean that, well, to an extent, I'll put this point up here. It does happen. It happens. And this, somebody made this point. They're like, the fact that a blackout in the Dominican Republic is now newsworthy shows signs of progress. I'm like, that's an optimistic viewpoint, right? Like 20 years ago, like it was a blackout, whatever, 6, 7, 8 hours. It is what it is. But it does happen. It doesn't make anything better when you've got the kind of infrastructure that they're building, monorail in Santiago, airports, multiple airports in country, the Santo Domingo train system, all of it. When you've got all of that going on, like you can't afford this to happen in the middle of your uprise, right? The Dominican Republic is in this moment, guys. If you don't believe that, I just drove around the country. I'm like, I was here 6 months ago. When did that road get built? When did that peaje get built? They know how to get their money. They're going to build the toll booths. Just the other day, last Thursday, I drove up to downtown Punta Cana, and it was what it was every other day. We left, went to Santiago. On Monday, I came back 4 days later. There are probably 50, maybe more, maybe 100 power poles up in 4 days, going all the way up to where Unidos is from Punta Cana Resort, Punta Cana Village, and the airport, and even past it. And now they have like the lights on a bunch of them as well. And the lights work. I drove through it the other night, like just like that. Quick. You cannot have that kind of issue happen, even if it's like a one-off coincidence, whatever. You can't have that happen in your ascension. Like this needs to be something that they fix. They fix hard. People have been talking about power generation down here as long as I've been coming, 15 years and more, obviously. But you can't have it happen. And whatever that means, the backup processes, the redundancy that you build into the grid, it needs to be improved. The other side of that is it came right at the same time, maybe as the plane was leaving the station or the airport, as Kathy Hochul's visit down here. Talk about bad timing, right? Kathy Hochul is visiting, and she's talking about, I'm going to show you guys here in just a second. She's talking about some of the things that New York wants to do with DR. And then as she's leaving, boo, the power goes out. Again, not a great look. I don't think it's having an impact on, the agreement that they signed when they were here, but again, still not a great look. Now, let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen. Wait a second. Let me find this real quick, guys. 1 second. Where is it? Governor Hochul, right here. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to share my screen. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here. Allow tab to share audio. Okay. I should be able to share the audio on this as well. Can Can you guys see my screen right now? Let me know. Just give me a yes or a no in the chat. I want to make sure before I hit play. Can you guys see my screen right now? I'm going to play about 2 minutes worth. I teed it up to the moment of when Kathy Hochul was here and what she said about her time here in DR. So can you guys see my screen? Oh, wait. You have to click this, add to stage. There we go. Now you can see it. Now you can see it. I'm learning the software, guys, so my apologies. There we go. All right, so let me click on this. I don't think I can play from here. I got to go to this other screen. I got to get a second screen. I'm just doing this from both sides here. All right, I'm going to hit play, and here we go.
What we're going to do is talk about formalizing trade opportunities. As part of that agreement, Dominican Republic will be the next flagship destination of our Global New York program, which is our opportunity to say that this is a place that matters. It is important to us strategically, economically, but also through the cultural ties that are so incredibly strong. We believe it'll bring together entrepreneurs and investors from both sides of that bridge. Key sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and we've talked about drone technology and artificial intelligence.
I swear politicians just throw out like, ooh, that's so newfangled and all that. She has no idea what she's talking about, but it's legit. It's just funny to me. Any politician, I think, just throws out like AI and drones. Drones? Anyway, we'll continue.
And other ideas that can help propel us into the future. We also want to make it easier for New York products to reach Dominican markets and vice versa, and open doors for New York companies to invest here. That'll create jobs for New Yorkers and Dominicans alike. Because when the Dominican Republic prospers, so does New York. And we feel that this is an opportunity that we must focus on today. But also must go beyond just dollars and cents. It also means that we have to protect the family, the extended family of our New Yorkers here on this island from the threat of climate change and the horrific storms that are now making history. When Hurricane Fiona struck in 2022, New York jumped into action. We mobilized resources to help the DR and other communities recover. Hurricane Melissa is the latest reminder that these severe storms do not respect any borders. So we must be prepared. And that is why we've just signed a declaration of intent between New York and the Dominican Republic that is one to build resiliency, strengthen the emergency response, and to save lives. This is a roadmap, and what I'm committing to here today are some of the brightest, smartest individuals in this space in the entire United States, people from my Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. They'll send a training mission here to support emergency responders. They'll share best practices using drones for disaster response and other ways. And it'll clear the way for Dominican agencies to participate in our surplus equipment auctions, giving you access to life-saving tools at a fraction of the cost. And we'll also launch a multi-year partnership between our higher educational institutions, the City of New York and the State University of New York, and Dominican universities. That way we can expand research and development and training into infrastructure resilience and more.
All right, that's the gist of it. You can see there's not much left on the video, and she just sort of like wraps up after that. Let me see if I can stop sharing. How do I stop sharing? Hold on. Stop screen. There we go. But what's interesting to me about that, there's a couple things. One, there have been plenty of US-DR cooperations of some sort, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. But never that I could find, at least, maybe some of you know differently, has a sub-federal department, a state or whatever, had a broad-based sort of, what does she call it, a declaration of intent or an MOU, a memorandum of understanding signed with the Dominican Republic. I mean, with other countries maybe, but like a U.S. state to a country to sign an economic memorandum of understanding, which I'll talk about that in a second, is pretty interesting. So it's just giving you a sense, especially New York having so many Dominican diaspora there, that there is I don't know, an elevated sense of DR and its standing in the world from an economic perspective, or at least the trajectory it's going on. Power outage, again, doesn't hurt. So that's one take I had. The other is, whatever this agreement will do, the participation or agreement between the universities, what you say, disaster relief, everything else. Whatever this will do, it's going to take a long time to know it for sure. And what I mean is it's a declaration of intent. She called it a roadmap. Good phrase. It's a framework. It's a, hey, let's sort of agree that this could be something we do. Let's get the basic kind of gist of it down, and then we'll let the policymakers sort of figure out in between, what the details of this look like. Some of these never they never, uptake. They never get to the point of a full-on agreement. I don't know if this will. Many of them do. The best example I could think of in the vein of this is recently the Open Skies Agreement that the U.S. and Dominican Republic had been talking about for years. Some of you may have reference to how long ago. It's been at least as long as I've been here. At least as long as 3 years have I seen and heard about open skies, and this signed on open skies, and this is going on with open skies. But like this, like anything, it takes a while for it to materialize and finalize. But when it does, I mean, you could see now, if you can't, I mean, I don't know how, what the Open Skies Agreement has done for flights between the United States and the Dominican Republic. And if you're not familiar with the Open Skies Agreement, what it means, essentially, it is like removing any sort of red tape or issues between the U.S. and the Dominican Republic with access to each other's skies and landing in each other's countries. So before, if DR wanted to file a flight plan, or Delta or whomever wanted to file a flight plan to fly from Punta Cana to Nashville, it had to go through all these regulation things that get approved. Open Skies removed all that, and it's just like, hey, just let air traffic kind of figure it out. Let the airports figure out their flight patterns, and we're good. So you see the rise of multiple flights, multiple locations, Denver now, Chicago, Nashville, Connecticut. There's so many more direct flights coming down here. And now with Aerojet, you're seeing even more and more direct flights, albeit a budget airline. I know some people are like, but their service, like, I haven't flown them yet. I'm a fan of the fact that they're a Dominican-owned company, also owned by Boeing. I'm a fan of the fact that they demonstrate the prosperity of this country. And I'm a fan of the fact that, being backed by Boeing, past endeavors that have failed as far as a Dominican airline, feels like this one's not going anywhere. And I've talked to some really interesting people about the differences, and I'm convinced, something bad has to happen for Aerojet to not take flight. You get it? No? Okay. So that was a very interesting thing to me. So for this MOU, or this declaration of intent between the United States and New York, for economic ties, for some manufacturing or development or whatever it might be, it's really, really interesting to see it, but it's not something that's going to happen right away. It's going to take time for the policymakers to shape it, create it, agree on it. Do they ever sign it and then implement? So I think you measure these things in like a 5 or 10 year span as far as their success rate, not I just heard this news. What's going on with that 6 months later? I haven't heard anything. It must be BS. It must be garbage. That's not how you would measure this sort of thing. So that is that. The last thing I want to talk about, then I'm going to go to Q&A, is my recent visit Wednesday night to the Zona Franca. By the way, my take flight. Thank you, Will Graham. My kids don't laugh. They say, Dad, stop doing dad jokes. They don't even know what that means, but that's what they say. I'm doing dad jokes all the time. So thank you for laughing. The visit I made to the Zona Franca, it was at the invitation of a friend that's connected to all of that. And the presentations themselves were sort of benign. There wasn't much to them. It was more of like, wow, this is so great, amazing, what it's going to do, what it's going to bring, how it's going to impact the country, and all of that stuff. But after the presentations, when I was able to kind of mingle in the room, there were a few things that were really, really interesting for me. One of them was very, very personally, I'll share a vulnerable moment, if you will, here just in a second. But then the information I was getting from those interactions was really, really, really fascinating. So here's some high level stuff. And again, I shared a bunch in the inner circle. And whenever I go to these things, and I'm invited to a lot of them, guys, like, I'm not trying to claim big time here, but because I've built this brand, it gets attention of interesting people who say, hey, you want to come check this out? You want to come check that out? Went to Santiago last week at the invitation of the owner of Camp David, because he's like, let's go see the airport behind the scenes, the extension. Let's go see the monorail, which isn't even built yet. We'll go to Station 2. You can see the monorail trains, the development inside, get insight from the developers there. Again, all of that I share in the inner circle, because there's trust there. These people are sharing things with me that aren't public. But what I will share with you from going to this event in the Zona Franca was, this just popped up on me, was number one, this is a unique hub. It's a unique Zona Franca, not only in DR, but in the Caribbean. And the reason for that is it is the only free trade zone that is attached to an airport. So it's attached to Punta Cana Airport. And my understanding of it from talking to someone is there's sort of like two aspects to this logistics hub. The first aspect is cargo, pure cargo. Manufacturing being done inside, that manufactured product being placed on cargo-only planes and flown out. In that regard, here's how that's a little bit unique. What won't be there is textiles. What won't be there is sort of low-cost, small items. What will be there is more advanced technology. So medical devices already here, semiconductor components, airplane parts and airplane replacement and repair. In fact, the jobs coming in that specific industry, you're talking like US type salaries on airplane repair, like real jobs. I mean, they're all real jobs, but you get my point. Like a lot of people are like, oh, where can I make a US type living down there? Like if you're an airplane mechanic, like call Grupo Punta Cana, because I don't know if it's them or whoever's renting the space from them, there's going to be some really cool jobs in there. So it won't be low cost items because everything from this logistics hub, everything from this free trade zone will be shipped out by air. Other free trade zones, they can do local shipping through trucks or whatever it might be. This is absolutely all cargo shipped by air out of this logistics hub. The second, aspect of this is for other products, maybe not textiles, because again, I don't think it'll be there, but other things that don't require full cargo, because this is connected to the airport, literally attached to the airport on the backside. If you've never been behind Punta Cana Airport, I've been going back there for a few years. It's always been like this bumpy road with a couple of factories being built. And then you have the Zona Franca and you're like, oh, there's a traffic circle and it's really interesting. But now, like in the last 3 weeks, I drove down there like paved, clean, done. They just made it such an easy in and out. And I was like, oh my God, this is like first world back here. Before it was like a road in Beirut. Incredible. And I think it was privately done by Grupo Punta Cana. But the point is, the other half will be like if you've got product and you're in the Zona Franca, you have space there, maybe smaller scale, and you don't need the entirety of a cargo hold. The commercial flights that fly out of Punta Cana Airport, think Arajet, think Delta, think United, that go to like, I think it's like 60 different cities now, direct out of Punta Cana Airport. It goes like 60 different cities around the world, from Paris to Chicago to Toronto to Rio, all over the world. Because generally speaking, luggage that you all take on your flight is pretty light, they can use the additional space and pay the airlines for cargo space. So it's like, hey, we got one pallet worth of stuff we got to get to, Medellin. So it's going to hop on a Wingo flight from here over to Medellin, and they can drop off that pallet along with all the passengers and all their luggage. So it's like using the infrastructure in place to get more product out to more of the world. So that will create over 9,000 direct and indirect jobs. Direct and indirect, which means I asked, like, what do you mean by direct and indirect? Like jobs that are in, Spain? Is that indirect? They're like, no. Direct is like people employed by those leasing the space inside of the Zona Franca. And they said that's probably like 4,000. The remainder are all of the contractors that are brought in, but physically here, all the contract work brought in. That'll be another 4,000 or 5,000 jobs, if that makes sense. So that's how that whole thing is going to work out. And it was fascinating to be there. What came of that for me was, I told you there's one vulnerable moment. So one vulnerable thing was like, I'm amazed at how much I'm recognized. It was like a little jarring, right? Like, you just kind of walk in. I'm just this dude. Everybody's got their guayabera on. They're white, everybody's, and I got a black polo on. I'm just that guy, man. Like people are like, oh, you got to get one. I'm like, nah, I can't. I just can't conform. I don't care about culture and all that stuff in that regard on something like that. Nah, I'll conform in other ways to the culture, right? Like be kind to your neighbors, all of that. But being recognized as much as I was fascinating. And maybe even more so, it was like, oh crap, the government's watching. They're probably watching now. Government people are watching my content, which is like, what did I say? What did I say last week? Did I say anything I shouldn't say? So all of that was really, really humbling, really interesting. And I don't know. People are like, I was live texting inside the inner circle, and they were like, yeah, dude, like yeah, you're well known there. Like, you've built this brand on that country in that area. Like, of course, like, I know, but I at that event, the president, ministers, all these like high ups or whatever, like, I don't know. It was surprising for me. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, the Zona Franca model, or the duty-free model in the country, is robust and as advanced as any other country in the region. What it's not is marketed anywhere near as well as some of the other countries. So like Costa Rica, for instance, has done a great job of building logistics hubs and duty-free zones, Panama as well. And there's a lot of awareness around the capability and everything. Here, I think the reputation right now is like, that's just low wage textile stuff. And the ministers I spoke to in that space, who I'm going to go meet at some point here to have more conversation on this, they were saying like, we want to, in order to advance everything, incomes, level of job, all of that, we got to get ourselves better marketed out there. We got to get more information out there about what our Zona Francas are. The other thing that I thought was really cool, because I haven't heard this anywhere, was when it came to the conversation around what is going to be developed in the Zona Franca, they admitted, they're like, we got to get on education. We got to get on education. I thought that was so refreshing to hear. I'd be honest with you, I had not heard education other than a throw-in. I hadn't heard it with the same passion and like, come on, that I did talking to some of the folks there at this Zona Franca. So to me, it's a little twinge of progress. Hilda, good to see you. Love Hilda. There she is. Hello. So that, my friends, those are my talking points for today. So what questions do you have? I'm going to go back and find some and see if we can highlight a couple of points or questions and we can dive in. I'm going to go back here now. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got somebody that doesn't like Hochul. Few of you don't like Hochul. I see she's lying. She's full of it. She's blowing wind up Dominican Republic's. Oh, I like this one. This is great. I love the arse. This is the only reason I put up there. Arse, she needs to take care of us here in New York. It's fair. That's fair. I was thinking like these are presidential aspirations, right? Like, oh, a foreign policy. I did this. So she's going to kind of take the low hanging fruit of like, what's like one of the biggest populations of people in my state? Oh, it's Dominicans. Let me go down and do something with the Dominican Republic. So like in 2 years, hey, look at me. I'm sure she has presidential aspirations. To be clear on this, guys, I don't trust politicians, period. I just don't. Like, voted in politicians, like, directors of certain things I'm different on, like, some of them are competent, some of them are not, but like elected officials, I trust this. I feel like they're all liars. I don't mean that, but I'm just like, I start with no trust. So I'm not a Hochul fan. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not an AOC fan. I'm a fan of logic. I'm a fan of common sense. I'm a fan of, do you or do you not follow through? So I've said this before. There are things Trump that has done that I think are awesome. There are things Trump has done that I think are not good, awful. There are things that Democrats, I don't know who, have done that are awesome. Trump is like the guy that comes to mind right away. And some that have done, I think, terrible things. And people on here at times will be like, you didn't say Trump bad. I have to unsubscribe, and I invite you to. I'm not a mouthpiece for anybody. I'm not an emotional person when it comes to this stuff. I have my feelings. I admit I'm center right in the way in which I see the world, more conservative, family values, leave me alone, get the government out of my stuff. That's how I see the world. But yeah, I don't think Hochul good, Hochul bad. It's just, hey, governor of a major state with a lot of Dominicans in it, came down, had a conversation, signed this agreement, or not agreement, but like intent, letter of intent, not letter of intent. Was it declaration of intent? And it's interesting. And if it's good for DR, then I'm happy with it, whatever it might be. Let's see what else we got here. We need more in Texas. So expensive to fly here. Yeah, the flights there, Hoandra. It's interesting. I think there used to be a Houston flight that's not there anymore. So I do agree we need more there. I used to go to Austin direct on Saturdays, but that's not there anymore. Somebody else said the same thing. So there you go. You got a friend in Adano. What is this? Importing food or anything like that from America to the Mercury to the I think somebody corrected themselves later. Dominican Republic will crush the remaining agriculture in Dominican Republic. It won't be good. I don't disagree with that. Let's see what Hochul said here. Collaborating on advancements in agriculture. That's a laugh. What advancements can New York give to DR in agriculture? She definitely needed a vacation with corrupt Espaillat. People feel passionately about Kathy Hochul. I get it. Let me see what else we got here. Let's see. Wow. more of you don't like Hochul from the comments I'm seeing than you do. So that's good. Here we go. Albert says, on a positive side, it's encouraging to see that the New York State governor opted to visit Santiago rather than Santo Domingo or Punta Cana, plainly indicating the city's significance. Sure, she did go to Santo Domingo as well. That's where she met with the president. But you're right. She spent 2-3 days touring Santiago. I think hey, for those of you, if you didn't know this and you don't like her, I'm going to say it. They gave her the key to the city. They gave her the key to the city in Santiago. So I guess she's got some fans up there for sure. Just leave it at there. And here we go, Nelson. Yeah, libertarian, I guess. So this is the other part, Nelson. I say this all the time too. Like, that's such an American thing. I'm guilty of it as well, is we look for the political category of people. Like, I've never been, I can honestly say, like, we've never been walking around with friends and be like, look at this guy, he sounds so PRM. You know what I mean? Or PLD, or whatever the parties are. Like, I've never heard that. Have you guys? Like, you tell me, maybe in Spanish it sounds different, but like, I'm around Spanish as well, and I never, ever, ever hear the like, oh, you are this party or that party or whatever. I never hear that. Like, I think generally speaking, this country is just like kind of conservative, Christian conservative in its views. And then everything else is built off of that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys like, oh, we always say like, you sound so PRM, you sound so PLD, you sound whatever. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Let's see. They have one to Houston. It's like 700 round trip. We have 4 kids, so it's like 4K on the low end. Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, with the taxes and everything, that adds up for sure. We were gonna go to I forget where it was at the end of the year. It was like $5,000 for the 4 of us to fly, but it was right around Christmas, so it's a little bit much. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Florence. I'm lying. What am I lying about, Florence? Tell me what I'm lying about. I'm going to just clicking on comments here. Hey, what's the best way to reach out to you? I'm in the final stages of investment property there in Punta Cana. I love insights you've been putting out. One of my biggest challenges is being able to meet people individually. And one of the things I did, mark this to the end of time, is created the inner circle for this reason. So this morning I'm at the gym. I'm interacting with people. You should see the conversation. I'm going to give you a snippet of the conversation we were having in the inner circle. I was talking about the potential of raising a fund, $10 million fund for mortgages out of the United States for Dominican property. And we got, where are we here? It is our real estate investing group. We got so deep in the weeds. We were talking about Reg A versus Reg D, 506A, 506B structure, how best to create it. There were so many ideas percolating. When it comes to this stuff, I'm not the expert, guys. I just take information and I'm a really good mouthpiece. I can talk. That's it. So the inner circle is where the wisdom is. So what I would say is, if it's worth it to you to spend $9 a month, my friend, J27NA, JamieGruber.com, just join the inner circle. You can cancel whenever you want to, but I'm going to bet once you're in the WhatsApp groups, we got so many of them. Look at these. We got so many of these WhatsApp groups going, different areas, different topics, raising kids, life in Santiago, retired life in Santo Domingo, Puerto Plata, technology. Thought we opened a sports one. Maybe I have to join it. Let me see. Oh, there's a veterans one, U.S. veterans, NDR. It's more like on Sundays, the sports one is about like, oh, we're talking about fantasy or whatever. Nothing to do with DR. It's just people coming together, but mostly Dominican people from the United States, from Europe, from Canada. Best way, guys, if anybody's like, how do I reach out? How do I connect with you? I don't mean to sound big time. I can't fulfill all of those requests. JamieGruber.com. And if you happen to be down here when I'm doing one of my monthly meetings that we do with the inner circle, jump in. You're part of it. Also, as we're growing, I do plan to sort of chapter off like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and attend something regular in those areas as well. That might be more than $9 a month for me to get that, to have the expense taken care of. But for right now, $9 a month. If you're in at that rate, then you'll be in that forever. You can do it annually as well. But that's the best way to contact me. We contemplated moving to Florida 1-2 years before making our move to DR. So we have traveled more there. The flights are 1/3 of the cost. Joandre, you mean it's a third less of the cost to DR, or a third of the cost to Florida versus DR? Can you give me a little more on that? I'd love to hear it from you on that. They're called Dummycrats. They have zero logic. The other day, I overheard teenagers complaining. I told them, ask not what you're... Oh, you know what? Look, I'm not, the Democrat Republican thing. It's so funny you bring this up, James. I talked to my kids about this. Because I always try to, I don't know, like I get into these motivational moments with them. I'm sure we all do. And I said, look, one of the greatest statements by a president ever in the United States, maybe in political history, was this one. Ask not what your country could do for you. Ask what you could do for your country. That's the generation that said, I'll go to war. That's the generation that said, oh, no, we got to take care of this, that, or the other, take care of our people. U.S. has become like, those people are evil. Those people are evil. This exists here. And it's not so much for your country, like the government structure of the Dominican Republic, but for your countrymen, your country mates. I'll tell this story. This is such a distinct moment, 6 hours apart. No kidding. We were in the United States, in Michigan, for a month this past August, getting ready to sell our house, right? We're there. If you've heard the story, then whatever. But just for those that haven't, you're going to enjoy the story. So we're in Michigan. My wife goes with a friend of hers named Chelsea. Chelsea has 2 boys. I have 2 boys. My wife has 2 boys. We have 2 boys. They're all in a minivan, and they're on this remote road, like a dirt road in Michigan. Michigan has dirt roads. People are like, oh, my dirt roads. And I just came from Michigan. It's dirt roads in cities. It's crazy. But anyway, dirt road in Michigan. And by the way, in a very expensive area. Dirt road in Michigan. So they're on this dirt road. Tire pops. Flat tire. A guy drives by. A man, allegedly a man, drives by, pulls up next to them. Now, they got out. They called for a tow truck. They were on hold. They were waiting, whatever. He gets out, and he goes over to them. He says, you guys okay? They're like, yeah, we called for a tow truck. But they're on a back road, 2 women, 4 children. The guy goes, oh, my God, I can't believe he even said this. The guy goes, look, I would stick around. This is no BS. No BS. I love building this up. You're all like, what did he say? He says, I would stick around, but we got to get to karaoke. And he left. He left 2 women, 4 children on a remote back road to wait what ended up being a few hours for a tow truck to come and change the tire so they could be on their way. Now, that was in the U.S. Days later, we flew back here to the Dominican Republic. We landed. I landed before my wife. It was without getting into it, we were not going to go together. She was going to go alone, and then I ended up coming, and it was a different flight, the whole thing. Anyway, so we ended up landing the same day, an hour and a half apart. I landed first with my sons on a Spirit flight. Don't ask why. My wife came first class on United out of Chicago, Michigan to Chicago and down, landing an hour later. So I was like, okay, great. When you get home, meaning me, just come get me. The neighbors watch the boys, just come get me. And we're minutes from the airport. So no problem. I get home, I come to my house, and we have 2 cars in our driveway. We have our 2020 Honda CRV, which we shipped here, and we have a 2012 Volkswagen. The 2012 Volkswagen is behind and therefore blocking the 2020 CRV. I get in the 2012 Volkswagen to get it out of the way so I can pick my wife up in the nicer car because she's bougie. 2020 CRV is bougie to me. And it doesn't work. Battery's dead. So now I got to get this thing out of my driveway. So I open the door on a Volkswagen. If you've never done it, you don't just put it in neutral. You got to pop the shifter handle off, and there's a yellow button. It was a pain in the butt. So I pop this thing out. I open it. I put it in reverse or in neutral, and I start pushing it out of my driveway. So it's it kind of is flat, and then there's a little dip at the end. Start pushing out of my driveway. And as soon as I start pushing out of my driveway, this guy comes around the corner. I live only a few houses from the corner. Guy comes around the corner in a white Highlander. So I'm like, oh, I jump in and I hit the brake, and I'm waiting there. And I'm like, why isn't this guy going? Why do you think he wasn't going? He pulled over, hopped out of the car, came over, never met this guy. And he just said one word. He said, vámonos. So I got out. He got in the front. He pushed my car out of the driveway with me. I steered it. We pushed it in front of the house. I threw it in park, high-fived him, whatever, and he drove off. He didn't say anything. He didn't stick around. He was gone. 2 women and 4 children in the United States on a dirt road stranded. I got to get to karaoke is what that man said. Gringo dude in his driveway, 2 minutes after getting back, pushing a car out. I would have figured it out. I would have gotten it out. It would have been a little effort, good workout. But this dude pulled over, helped me out. If that doesn't explain to you why I see, against all the hate, all the people who tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, all the people who say that the Dominican Republic is not as good as I say it is, if that doesn't explain to you the distinction that I see over and over and over again, then I'll give you one more. You guys ready for story time? Is it too much? Let me know. Story time good? Or you want me to just answer questions and shut up? I need to know what you guys want from me. I'll be your jukebox today. Answer questions or you want second story? Second story or answer questions? Drop it down below. I think there's a delay in the thing, but I'm going to dance. So it's interesting for people watching this on replay. What is he doing? So second story or answer your questions. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? I see questions about Vistacana. I see a bunch of them. Any story from Michigan is good. Keep doing stories. We got that. All right, cool. I'm going to tell the second story. This happened here. Christmas Day in that Volkswagen, we went to Higuey, and not the middle of Higuey, like, I don't know, like outside of Higuey. What's the area there? It's like Anamuria or something like that. Something outside of Higuey. Christmas Day, we went up to stay at a ranch, at like a cottage, a rustic cottage. We stayed there for Christmas Eve. My wife's family's up there, middle of nowhere. On the way back the next day, I'm driving down this like rough road, and I hit a pothole on the right side. Bang, bang, both tires out. Takes out both tires on my passenger side. Am I driving? Whatever. One side or the other, both tires below. Nowhere, middle of nowhere, Christmas Day. Me, my wife, my two kids. There's this little house, like back, I don't know, 20 yards or whatever it is. We're looking around like, what do? We call her uncle. He's going to come down. This is going to take a while. So we go over. Actually, we don't even go over. This lady comes out of the house, older lady. And this is like, people say like real Dominican. Like this is the real Dominican type of house, right? Like it's just this, like, this concrete box with a thatched roof on like a farm. And there's like dogs and chickens and everything else all around. So, and anyways, this woman comes out and she says, "Hey, why don't you guys come in here? Maybe not 20 yards. That feels a little far." No, it might've been. So I back the car up, like limping on the flats, right? And I back it into her driveway. We're in her driveway. She's bringing out like drink and food for us. We were like, no, we're okay, whatever. She's got all the dogs. She's got kids. One kid's in a wheelchair with a broken leg, like just sitting there. My kids are playing with the dogs. The most hospitable, amazing people on Christmas Day. We were there for like an hour and a half. Dude came up from Higuey, got the car. Did he bring the car? No, I forget how he changed the tires. But anyway, dude came up from Higuey, from the city, looked at it, went back, got the tires. I think they came and towed the car. I don't even remember what happened with the car. We were just talking to people. Anyway, within a couple of hours, we had tires on the car. We went home. And in that moment, it was like, Christmas Day, of all things to happen. And then afterward, you're like, but look what we just experienced. I actually did a reel on it. If you go back deep in my reels, maybe I'll find it and post it back on Instagram. But it was the most, like, people are gracious in all parts of the world. It's not as if there's none of that happens in the United States. I never want to indicate that I'm like, the U.S. sucks. I don't think that at all. U.S. has the greatest opportunity for people, jobs, infrastructure, medical, all of it, right? Like, never mind the healthcare. I don't want to get into that whole thing, but you get my point. Like, if there's something really wrong with me, I'm looking for like the top U.S. doctor along with the top Santo Domingo doctor, or Santiago, but I'm going to the U.S. You get my point. But those moments are the ones that really make me create the content that I do and share in the way that I do. Look, we almost went to jail once after an accident in Cabarete, and here I am, still very positive about the country. Thank God for lawyers. If you don't have a lawyer in this country, you need a lawyer, and they're like a lifeline. So just hot tip, pro tip, having a relationship with a lawyer here, and they're generalists. Some lawyers practice on real estate, but they do it all. They're more generalists than in the States where they have specific focuses. Having a good lawyer is an important thing to have. Just trust me on that. So here we go. Let's see. Let me go into some of the comments here. There was a couple of questions up here. Oh, here was one. How is the progress in Vistacana? Looking interested for residing, not necessarily for investment. It's good. It's coming along a lot, but it's also a very big place. So it's, you drive in there, you're going to see more like stuff happening, building than you are built. I think there's like 2 communities in Vistacana that might be like built, maybe 3. Like, I think Paseo del Sendero is built, at least the non-Pueblito Caribeño part, and Oasis. And there might be one more I'm not thinking of, but then there's a whole bunch more that are really cool looking, really interesting. And I'm starting to at least get the indication that some of the newest communities might actually have some diversity in their look. Like a lot of Vistacana. My only criticism of Vistacana is each community likes to go cookie cutter. They just build like the same. It's just so. There's a phrase for that. It's like draconian or something like that. I don't think that's the right word, but you guys get it. It just doesn't look very good to me. So like if they diversify, even better. But Vistacana, guys, look, I don't know. I think Vistacana is one of those, like if you've been in it in the last 5 years and you went to it today, you would be like, wow, holy, plunk my money down. If you went for the first time now, you'd be like, oof, there's a lot not done. that make sense? Like if you just went there now, there's a lot of development happening, but there's a lot not done. But if you saw it 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and then you came back, you'd be like, what happened? Holy crap. And the fact that they have a school there, as far as residing, being a resident there, just takes it to the next level. The same will happen with City Place. They're building Maximo Potencial. I just toured City Place. I just saw the building, Maximo Potencial, that they're building there for the school. I'm hearing there might be a second school going into that area, which is great. So those neighborhoods, City Place, Vistacana, I think they're awesome. I think they're going to be great. That's just my take. That's my thoughts from the ground here. Let's see. Thoughts on parking some cash in pesos with a bank in DR for a CD. Any experience? I don't, but Papa Penguin pontificates. Let me pontificate for you, Papa Penguin. A lot of peas in that. I should drink. Next week, I should just like slowly get drunk while doing this live and just see what happens. Be like, I love you guys. Yeah. Anyway, so here's what I do know about that. I have not yet. But one of the members of the inner circle, guys, shamelessly, I'll promote this thing. I think $9 a month is extremely reasonable for what we do in that. In the inner circle, I have every Tuesday we do a live call, and I'll bring in different guests depending on the week. Sometimes it's just me doing Q&A. Other times it's other people bringing in like knowledge and expertise. We had a member who's invested in, I think, 8 different properties and flipped them. So she's really gotten good at identifying the right pre-construction properties and flipping them before they get delivered. And she makes a lot of money. We were asking her about how do you if you're in a property, you flip out of it, then what about the next property? You have to get a mortgage if it goes long. She's like, no, I think this is what she said, or something like this. Like, I take it all, I drop it into a Dominican CD because of the rates that they get, and then you can borrow against it. And then I can actually buy properties borrowing against my CD. So she builds up cash, she creates a CD, and then that CD becomes her bank. Does that make sense? It was brilliant. Brilliant. Everybody got off the call like, oh my God, I never thought to do that. So I don't specifically have experience, Papa Penguin, pontificating about this with CDs. However, that's the experience I heard of. And again, I'm not the expert. I'm the mouthpiece. That's what I had heard. So, and I think the bank she recommended was Banco Lopez de Aro, which is a great bank. They're a very good bank. I'm pretty sure that's the one she said was the way to go. So for whatever that's worth, I hope that helps all of you. RIP New York. I believe it will get back to the times pre-Giuliani. Nelson, here's what I'll share on that. I don't disagree with you. And here's what I want to share for those of you that might be younger than Nelson and I. When I was growing up on Long Island, anytime we would go to the city, field trip with another family, my mom and dad would make the point of places you don't go. And one of those was Times Square. Don't let me hear that you went to Times Square, right? Like that was you don't go there. Today, if you were born in, 96 onward, that might be like, that's insane. Times Square was, somebody give it words. Times Square was what? It was the ghetto. It was a drug infested. You get robbed there. It was awful when I was growing up, especially compared to today. My fear for New York, and this isn't a commentary on Mamdani. I actually get why he won. And I think the right needs to understand, like, this isn't stupid New Yorkers. Like, people were promised something, especially those that voted for him. They were promised something that if they did these things, they would get X. If you go to school, go to college, you get a job, you make enough money. And they're like, that's not happening. Then you got a guy, a populist, coming out and saying all the right things. Hello, Trump. For those on the left that don't understand Trump, like, he says all the right things. Trump and Mamdani are left, right, same person in terms of politicians. However, socialism and the idea of it can't work. It never has. Don't tell me about Norway. What he's proposing won't work. The people in the city either will find ways to shelter, the rich people, shelter their money, or they'll move out of the city. And they've already done. There was 600,000 people who moved out in the last 5 years. They'll go to Long Island. They'll go to Connecticut. They'll go to Florida. They'll come here. They'll become citizens of the world. Plenty of them. The people with the means that he's saying it's only 2%, and those people want a better city. Yeah, but not on their dime. Not especially when they're funding, what is it, like half of the city already. That's just, again, guys, this isn't, I'm a right leaning, I'm a left leaning. That's just my analysis. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Mamdani, I really do. I hope he proves that a socialist agenda can create immense prosperity. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Just like I don't believe Trump is the answer to all things like many on the right do. I don't believe it. Like he's got some good things, got some bad things. Same with Mamdani. So yes, I do have a fear, Nelson, just analytically, that those policies start like less police, higher taxes, free handouts. This is going back to the ask not what your country do for you. The United States has switched, man. Like, what are you going to do for me, country? And again, I get why, but that's the like, what, tell me the list of Christmas presents you're going to give me, politician, and I'll vote for you, has become like the mindset of the populace. And I think it's a dangerous thing. In the Dominican Republic, it's sort of sad. Well, it is sad that more people that need support don't get it from government. But if there's a silver lining in that, like no one expects the government to do anything for you. And I think there's something healthy in that. Again, not that the poorest Dominicans shouldn't get the support they need, not at all. But there's something healthy about a society that says, I got to take care of me. Something unhealthy about that too, but I like that part of it. And I've shared on prior lives about like how I actually think DR is culturally more adequately positioned for the future that AI creates. AI's disruption is on jobs, and jobs are the key feature of all Western society, developed society. US, UK, France, all of those countries are on the same path. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job. That job pays you a living wage, enough money for you to not have to do anything else. And there's a promise that one day, if you save or they put it into a pension, that you'll extract that and you can retire. That's the boilerplate. It's a bell curve, right? Like just you're somewhere in the average. You're going to be somewhere in the middle of this bell curve. And the future with AI is going to eradicate many jobs. I do believe later it'll build, but there'll be a gap, and it's going to be very disruptive for Americans, for Canadians, for Europeans. But in a place where jobs they're here, but the person working a lot of hours, granted, making $500 a month, has hustles because they know they got to make more money. Like that mindset and society does way better if we all agree on this, I think, if the biggest disruption of AI is going to be jobs. If you're not already relying on jobs as your number one fuel, like DR doesn't, then I believe it positions a country better as long as they invest wisely. And time will tell with this NVIDIA deal and everything. I believe that the country is better positioned to do well in a post-job society than developed countries who are fat and happy and sitting back and saying, "Oh, this is what you do. Go be a lawyer. Go be an accountant. Go be an attorney. Go be whatever." Americans aren't ready to be mechanics. They're not ready to be electricians. They're not ready to be plumbers. And there's money in that. Trust me. Right now, our house that we bought is being redone in a lot of ways, painting, redoing a pergola, some plumbing stuff. We're having a water filtration. Like, I don't know what the hell to do. I know how to paint, but I don't want to. But we're paying a nice chunk, less than the US, way less than we would in the US, more than the rest of the DR. It's Punta Cana prices, right? But these guys are doing all right for what we're paying them in the timeline and what they're delivering. Doing all right. So that's my take on it. I hope that makes sense to all of you. Let's see what else we got. Any story from Michigan? For sure, the karaoke guy was Tampon Tom. I'm with you on the political views. No common friends, no common enemies, only common interests. Wow. Oshtoya. Yeah. Is that Oshatya? Is that like a Biggie lyric? Who shot ya? Is that what that is? Is that where that's from? If that's why you created it and I just got that, I deserve credit in some way, shape, or form. Ninja. If you're a ninja, I'll do it so that you understand me. I appreciate you. If you guys remember the Kung Fu movies. It's going off the rails now. Let's see. Love listening to anything you say. Oh, I appreciate that. Next story we did. Let's see. I hear what you're saying, but those stories don't equate to the totality of the U.S. I'm from the South, where people are 99% more likely to stop than drive past. So it's not everyone, but I get it. Yeah, no. Again, who shot you? You're right. The U.S. is a big place, right? So to say, I always say this even with DR, people are like the DR market, like DR is kind of a big place, like Punta Cana, and even within Punta Cana Village is different than Vistacana. It's very different. So you're right. I've been to the South, and it is annoyingly friendly in many ways. Mostly annoyingly friendly. In Alabama, I never forget going to Alabama. And I walked into this office because I had a virtual organization that I managed for Progressive. I walked into this office, and the guy that managed, his name is Brent, introduced me to everybody. And there were two things. One, I couldn't understand a word anybody was saying. It's like, I don't, come on. I'm like, the hell did you just say? And then second, everybody was named Trey. Everybody was named Trey. Brent walked me over like, oh, let's see, this here, Tommy, Ms. Michael, this Trey, Steven, Trey. I kid you not. I got to watch cursing because YouTube suppresses that. I kid you not. There were so many Treys. I guess it's like the third. So all these, like in the South, like a lot of people are like, I'm Stephen Willingfield. I'm Stephen Willingfield the second. I'm Stephen Willingfield the third. No, you're not. You're Trey. That's how the South works. But I'd never forget walking into a Subway early. I walk in Alabama, in where was I? Mobile? I think I was in Mobile. I walk in, and the guy behind the counter is about to take my order, and this redneck from the back of the Subway just shouts out, hey, man, hey, you look like Tony Kanaan. You're just like Tony Kanaan. I'm like, what? I actually said, man, look, I don't speak redneck. I'm such a jerk. I don't speak redneck, man. I'm sorry. Who are you talking about? It's like, Tony Kanaan, man. You know Tony Kanaan? Like, no, I don't know Tony Kanaan. I got to find Tony Kanaan to show all you guys who this is. So apparently he's a Formula One driver. Let's see. Let me find images of Tony Kanaan, and then I'll share it with you. Let me get one this one here. Wait a minute. No, that doesn't work. Why am I not able to get an image of Tony Kanaan? Tony Kanaan. There he is. Let's see if this is a good shot. Well, whatever. I'll share with you guys. Let's see. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. Share screen. Tony Kanaan. Here we go. This is like a lot of work to get this up there, but there he is. That's Tony Kanaan. You guys see it? I don't see it. So anyway, I look back at this guy and I say, look, man, I don't speak redneck. And he's like, oh, okay. But he didn't stop there, right? Like I ordered my sandwich or whatever from Subway, and I was there for a few minutes, and I went to leave, and he looks at me and he goes, see you later, Tony. See you later, Tony. And I'm like, what? I didn't get it. Like it was so much time had passed. Anyway, I walked into like a CVS later, and a woman walked up and she said, how y'all doing? And in my mind, I was like, I'm one person. All right, I'm not a y'all. There's not many of me. So just please. So I agree with Hushacha that that's my name for you, that the South tends to be a little more friendly than many other parts of the country. But I've always lived in the North and the Midwest. The Midwest was friendlier, but still a little cold. Let's see. What's this say? I thought about the idea of investing in pesos to leverage USD. We looked into investing in Brazil, which would allow us to build equivalent to 10K USD dividends in 12 to 13 years versus the US. Wow. Smart people in this room. You need a lawyer everywhere. That is so true. Do I look like Tony Kanaan, by the way? Do I look like Tony Kanaan? What's this? Are you making a video of completed model unit in Maple Suites? Yes, I will if it's done. I got to go see if it's done. I did. It was already being built. Now, actually, this is cool, guys. So I'm participating in this. If you buy Maple Suites, and if you don't know what Maple Suites is, a condo complex in Cortecito. It's built by Boardwalk Properties. Cheryl Henderson, who's a big realtor down here, is the owner of Boardwalk, and it's 75% of the way done. I would say, it's be done in the next few months. Right next to Maple Beach, which is completely done, and it's a block from Cortecito Beach, so it's a great spot. I believe in it. Cortecito's got its stuff; it's got to improve, but I'm a big believer in Cortecito, and I love this Maple Suites project. So I'm in Maple Suites. I got a unit, third floor, back of the thing, and Cheryl also has a veterans care clinic for veterans. And there's a process she has where she's able to, there's like not-for-profits that pay veterans that fly down for treatment, pay for their flights, pay for their hotel. The issue is she has a hotel that they can stay in, but it's overbooked for months. So one of two things she could do: buy another hotel for veterans, or go to a building she already owns, Maple Suites, and say, you know what, for a certain number of you, I think there's like 10 units left in the building to sell. And she's marketing this to the new buyers. So like, take a look at it, $170,000 for a 1-bedroom. For those new buyers, you can buy this unit, and there is a program she created where the hotel will sign like a 2-year lease for $1,500 a month to rent your place from you full time. You don't need a management company. You don't need to do anything. It's almost like co-hosting, if you're familiar with that from Airbnb. So they rent it from you as a full-time renter. You can use it, but you got to probably pay them back or whatever for the week. But every month you're getting $1,500 a month, and then they place veterans that are there for the week doing what they call a tour, getting their treatment and doing everything else like that. So it's like guaranteed $1,500 a month, probably cash flow. I'm guessing from looking at it, you got to pay for a couple things. They pay for utilities, like $1,000 a month, maybe $1,100, somewhere in that range. But like to do nothing, right? They manage, they do everything, they take care of it. So they're literally becoming a long-term renter. Like you've got like a long-term renter, and then they'll do what they do with the veterans there, and you just pay for like HOA, some maintenance, that kind of stuff. So 1,500 in, maybe you have 400 a month in expenses, and the rest is your cash flow. I think it's a great program. So Maple Suites, if you go into the description of my video, there's something about like Boardwalk, fill out that form and they'll reach out to you and you can learn about that. But yeah, I will make a video as it gets more complete or completely complete, the model unit, and we'll go from there. Don't drink without eating, Mr. Gruber. That's a good point. Then I won't be as drunk. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This is on Vistacana. That's my only problem with the complex. A lot of copy paste. Paseo is a potential option since they have completed and resales are available. Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's like your investment way. Right? Like I like to see done. I like to see action before you're going to invest. Beautiful. I love that. There's people that are like, I want bottom floor. I'm willing to take that risk. And others say like, it's done. I see it. I see resales. I'm good. I know there's upside for me to gain later on. So amazing investment strategy. Albert says, how is the traffic in Santiago? There's a lot of construction. Yeah, it depended on the day. Sunday, nothing. Friday, Saturday, it wasn't Santo Domingo level. Some people say it's getting like that. Like, no, I spent enough time in Santo Domingo. That place is a zoo, man. That place is, and there's more stuff going up. So there's more of it. Santiago's got more traffic than a year ago when I was there, but like marginally more. And the construction contributes to that. But it wasn't terrible. And we were at Camp David for a bunch of it, which is like up in the mountains. We had a great time there. Short-term rentals is interesting. We're a Dominican Brazilian family. My husband is from Sao Paulo, but I see more advantage investing in La Bolsa Brasileira to build up dividend income and reels. And Ari Ria. Okay. Juandra, I got half of that. On live, you can't really pretend. I can't edit out like my, especially in the years between 86 and 92. That place was a bit crazy, basically another 42nd Street. Oh, yeah, right, Nelson. Exactly. If you're going back to Times Square in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, it wasn't a good place. Jamie, that hurricane hit Jamaica. Last time worries me about DR. Sure. Based on good building codes, not in Jamaica. Not sure that good in DR. I'm a builder in 5 states from I guess that's Michigan. Here's my take on this. I mean, that category, that hurricane, the force of it, the slow speed of it, like it didn't matter who it hit. It was going to do some bad things. And unfortunately, the least able to endure it are going to get the worst of it, right? The people that are on the lowest socioeconomic ladder, the least wealthy, the poor, they're going to get impacted more than anybody else. Some of the things that I've noticed between a lot of Jamaica and the more developed parts of DR, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this. So I've just noticed from afar, and I was talking to a friend of mine that lives in Negril, who's a creator, and he was giving me some insights. But I've noticed more now because I'm looking at it like, what would we do? Where would we go? How would we handle this if that kind of storm came here? And I'll tell you what our escape plan would be in a second. But I noticed more concrete light posts here in the developed areas, like total concrete construction versus there might be concrete base, but wood roof or tin roof. Even in some of the nicer areas in Jamaica that I've seen and that he's talked about. So it's not as if DR is like, oh, it wouldn't be a problem. Not at all. But places like this that are concrete, would have a way shorter recovery time. And from a physical safety perspective, which is the most important thing, it sounds like people in resorts, people in concrete structures there did okay. There was a high school in Negril that just collapsed, but it was all wood. You could see all the timber and everything. So I've noticed that. I feel like where they're building here versus where they're building there, there's a little bit more attention to those sorts of things. Now, personally, if a hurricane like that hit here and came up kind of like it did right through the bottom or through Punta Cana, one of two things. I'd either go Medellin, Miami, or maybe somewhere else, or I'd go to Santiago. In fact, I might even stay at Camp David, up in the mountains, concrete building. I don't see where mudslides would impact that particular property, the mountain, sure, but hunker down for, a few days. I might do that, David. Generator power, all of that. Like that will be my area, Santiago, somewhere north. double honest, what I wish had happened, and I don't mean this is going to sound maybe a little bit insensitive, but I don't mean it this way. I think you'll get why I'm saying it this way. But from a standpoint of just impact on human beings of the world, what I wish had happened, one of the tracks they talked about was that as a tropical storm, maybe a Hurricane 1, at that time, it could have turned north like Bani, like west of Santo Domingo, like Bani, and went straight through DR. Two things. It would have been less force. It would have been faster, and the mountains of DR would have cut it to pieces. That was the projection. Like on the other side of it, it would have been like nothing. I don't want that for DR, but you get my point, right? If I have to choose between like the pain of one country experiencing a tropical storm that gets cut up by its mountains versus another country that has a Category 5 sit on top of it for days without the mountains, the type of mountains to cut it up, like I would choose this one over that, just from a standpoint of like analysis, not the human beings involved. I hope that makes sense to everybody, because I'm sure somebody will, depending if you're under 30, you might be like, oh my God, did he just say that? Did he just say he wishes? They're going to snip that out. He wishes. Influencer in Dominican Republic wishes that hurricane hit Dominican Republic. Like, okay, you could do my Valley Girl thing. If you weren't here for the beginning, I've been doing Valley Girl accents the whole time. Let's see. Times Square used to be the equivalent of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, look at this. I'm not used to these like tip things, these super things. I appreciate you. AJR 1365. I like that band. I like AJR. What are your thoughts on how Sosua can stay the way it is, given that there are already plenty of family oriented places in DR people can go? Here's what I would say. It's a good question. I'm not just saying that because they gave me $5. It is a good question. And my mind had to think about this for a second. I'm not in Sosua, so let's start with that. People from Sosua are very protective of Sosua, and somebody from Punta Cana is talking about Sosua, but I'm not from Sosua. But here's what I would say just analytically. I think that we need to all understand that the Dominican Republic coastline is finite. It's extremely desirable. The biggest threat is sargassum. And when I say finite, I mean there's not that much of it generally. I think we have to come to grips with, accept, maybe celebrate, depending on where your perspective is on this, that all beachfront areas will have the capacity and eventually, I think, will be places for tourism and luxury real estate to thrive. I don't think that there is too much of anything in this country as far as opportunity for beachfront towns to do really, really well. I think Punta Rusia is going to have its day. If you had 20 grand to buy chunks of land like on a bet and you don't care if you lose it because who knows, Punta Rusia. If you've never been to Punta Rusia, that's probably the most beautiful spot I've been on the island. And I have not yet been to Bahia de las Águilas, but I know it's beautiful as well. I would say it's probably like the same thing just on the North Shore. It's incredible. Montecristi already has some momentum. You're already seeing what's happening in Las Terrenas. Las Carreras will have its time. It's already starting to get a little bit of attention. Miches, of course, Nisibon. I mean, all the way around. Cabo Rojo, Pedernales, all of that. I think there's way more demand. That's a way to put it. Way more demand for what DR offers than the supply DR can offer. And I mean that in every capacity. The middle of the country with Jarabacoa, Constanza, for ecotourism, for adventure tourism, for fishing, for beach life, for living here. There's a lot of demand for buying and living here. Like I can't tell you how many people I meet that have moved here, not visiting. It used to be more visitors than like, oh, we're thinking about it. Now, like, man, like more people that I meet are moving here or have moved here than they're visiting here. So my thoughts on how Sosua can stay the way it is, given that there are already plenty of family-oriented places in DR, I think it's got unlimited potential. We'll see if the raid sticks. I really believe it will. I really do. And I'm on the backs of Sosua people, the ones that love the fact that it got cleaned up and the ones that hate the fact that I got cleaned up. All of them love it or hate it for the same reason. They're like, this is different. Been here 30 years. There've been raids. This one's different. And then if you love it, you're like, this is great. I'm so glad they did it. If you hate it, you've got all the conspiracy theories in the world. Government just wanted to clear out people and buy cheap real estate so they can get their friends rich. It's probably all true. It's probably all true. But I think Sosua has a huge amount of potential. there's just too much going on around it. Punta Bergantina is going to be insane. Ambar Highway. Think about this. Just from a Santiago perspective, 1 million plus people, you're going to have a 30-minute drive to Puerto Plata. I mean, how many of these people, are going to want to leave Santiago, go to Puerto Plata and say, it's too busy. Let's go to Cabarete. Let's go to Sosua. Let's go to Rio San Juan. There's going to be, the North Shore has got like endless possibility. My take. I'm no expert. This is just how I see the world. Some of you that think I'm right, you're going to be like, he's so right. I agree. Some of you think I'm wrong. You're not going to agree. All opinions, folks. All opinions. Let's see. Ushacha. You are sharp, my guy. Oh, come on. It was the Biggie thing? I'm impressed, but that's pretty impressive. It's an ode to Biggie, but I'm a photographer, so it's, look at the gringo. That is my best. This is not set up. That is my best call ever. If you're just joining, I was reading the name Oshacha. I'm like, is that a Biggie reference? Like Hushacha? I can't say the rest of that song. I'll be banned. I'll be banned from the internet. But that is awesome. I'll never forget Oshacha. I love it. Thank you for validating that. I don't speak redneck. It was funny. It was a jerk move, man. Like I was just moody. It was like I was up early and like, I don't speak. He just kept going. Tony Canal, man. Tony Canal. He had a straw. He didn't, but I had to say, man, look, I don't speak redneck. New York kid comes out every so often. Hi, Jamie. What do you think about Bisono, the construction company? Are they good? Don't know them well. Is it Kea? I don't know them well. I can't really speak of them. I've heard of them. That's all I could really say. Aside from having a shaved head, you don't resemble that dude. Thank you, Albert. It's like what is it, like baldest? It's baldest. Balda with a D. Baldist, not ballist. That would be ballast, I guess, like stuff you throw off a boat. I don't know why you throw it off the boat, but you get my point. Ushacha. The traffic can be hectic at times, but nowhere is abysmal. Santo Domingo. I completely agree. Let's see what else we got here. Caribbean Casanova. Look at the sex appeal on that image. If you guys can't see that, I felt something. It moved. Great perspective. I felt the exact same way as you do. Always enjoy your content, Gringo King. That was hilarious. Well, speaking of Sosua, Mr. Casanova, like, look, the guy is sitting on, I think, a gold mine. I think he's going to go through a bit of a tough time right now, like everybody is up there. But he's sitting on a gold mine, and I watch his stuff. Like he knows his stuff. You guys don't. It's Kompai's expat channel. He knows his stuff, man. Like I'm a fan. I actually am. The New York guy, right? Like he came in, he had an opinion about my take on Jet Set, which was totally fair. And I actually agreed with him on one. I watched myself as he was talking about. I'm like, he's right. I probably went too far in my opinion on that. But when he went to like, look, he's trying to sell you stuff. That's all he's trying to do. I'm going to sell you guys in a second on my inner circle just to validate his bias because I like the guy. I want him to feel good. But when I did that Gringo King thing with El Punto, that El Punto thing was fun. I had so much fun making that video. And I heard him, somebody sent me a video of him saying he was doing a live during the raids, which I watched. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the first part of it. He was showing the raids because he's there. And somebody sent me a snippet from a later part where he said, yeah, I made a video talking about another YouTuber and he said the F word, his effing echo chamber came after me. I was like, so hello, echo chamber. All of you are an echo chamber. But anyway, the dude's sitting on a gold mine up there, I think, in the next year or two. And I think what he's been doing is like adapting. Like he was Chica friendly. Now he's not, right? He got kicked off Airbnb. I don't know if he got back on it, but he's not. He's adjusting. He's building bars. He's doing things to adapt. Like smart businessman. That's a smart businessman. So he sees what's coming. He's plugged in. He knows the players in that area. He knows his stuff. So he's going to do really well once we get past the upheaval in Sosua. Somebody's going to snip this and send it to him, and we'll see what happens with that. Was responding to Nathan. Let's see. The climate change is causing larger and slower moving hurricanes. Islands that have poor infrastructure and less services are going to get hit harder. So potential reality, Raf. Now it's a fair point. Fair point. Will DR ever have a real estate MLS? How hard can it be to join other countries with this concept? It's hard. It's hard. You know, MLS has a like it's a requirement, right? So like, I mean, here's what you'd have to change to get an MLS here. Here's the behavior you would have to change to get an MLS here. Number one, You would have to get rid of the incentive developer or realtors feel for bait and switch. We see this. You go on a site, there's a house. Whoa, that house, Coco Towel for 250,000. Well, yeah, it sold 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That was the price then. But you call, they leave it as an active listing. You call and they're like, oh, we don't have that, but we have. And you're like, oh, okay, let me hear you out. So they procure a client. And if it works, they don't want to change that. So you got to change that behavior. You got to create a required system for all realtors to be on. I think you would need to require licensing, which is not required now. You can get a license, but you need to require it. I would say, look, I work with a couple of firms when I refer people. I think Canna Blue, Teresa is a referral I have there. You can do at the bottom, you can click a link and I'll make your referral. She's amazing. They're a legitimate, reputable firm and they're doing great things on their website. If you want a good website for they actually mine for the active listings and the right price and they validate as much as they can before it's posted. So cannablue.com is a good place to shop. Keller Williams doesn't have as good a website presence, but they're very reputable. And again, I refer to one of their realtors and there are others, but there's some really good realtors doing things. There is an MLS here. And the only reason I would say be mindful of that is realtors do have access to the whole market, the ones that are good, A lot of people, I think they need multiple realtors, and I did too. And maybe you still do in some cases, but a really good realtor, like a pro, they will be your one and only contact. And they don't I can't show you that, even though I know it's listed because it's not my listing, it's somebody else's. The realtors I refer, Teresa, Felipe, these guys, they're going to go best for the client. So if I got to split the commission with somebody to get my client what they want, they do that. And I'm always pushing any referral I make to be better. The attorney, the realtors, guys, look, I give them a lot of business. I push a lot of people to them, not push, but a lot of you patronize these lists that I create and they go to them and they, I've got leverage with them. So I really try hard to make sure they're working as hard as they can for the client. Nobody's perfect. Things fall apart. Some people don't like the referral. It happens, with any number of people, but I don't know if and when a lot would need to change. I'm sure it can happen. There are many companies trying to do AI scrapes to create like a Zillow. I don't know how well that's going to work because again, the listings aren't that reliable. No AI is going to tell you that, but I think if you get a good realtor, you may know a great one. And when I say great, full-time, local, sold a lot of stuff. They work for a great firm. This is all they do. No side hustles, no moonlighting as a property manager, nada. All they do is study the market every day. And that's who I try to refer to. That's who I do refer to. Those people will be way better for you than MLS right now. But I don't know. I don't know if or when we go there. Let's see. This is another reason not to fall into MAGA, anti-science, anti-climate science, complete nonsense. Sorry to get political. It's true. It's okay to get political, man. It's fine, but just allow me to. I'll give my thoughts on climate change, climate science, all of this. I believe climate change exists. I believe that people doing things has a contribution to climate change. I'm very, very, very skeptical about the business of climate change. It's just good money, man. It's such good money for these organizations and companies to convince you, me, and everybody else that, oh my God, we need this product and we need this and we need that. The truth to me is if you look at it overall, everything I've seen is humans contribute, but there's no clear analysis of how much humans contribute versus Earth geological cycles. Do we contribute 1%, 50%? That's point one. Point two, the amount of progress that if the US went to zero carbon footprint, it would be a small movement in whatever human contribution is compared to China and India and some of the other countries out there that are absolutely polluting the world. There's more pollution here, but it's a pimple. It's nothing compared to the US or anywhere else. So I believe that the climate is changing. I believe humans have a role. I believe in clean, green energy. I do, but I fall short of being all in on this being the anti-science. I'm not anti-science. I'm highly skeptical, and admit I've become way more this way post-COVID. Way more this way post-COVID. I was more of a fall in line guy. I almost got the you know what. I didn't. My wife convinced me not to. And I'm so glad I didn't. For some of you, that might be a bridge too far. Can't help it. That's my truth. I'm so glad I didn't. I think it's like cancer. Why can't we cure cancer? Well, there's too much money in managing cancer. Why is climate science, climate change, like, oh, why would we want to say, wait a minute, the science says that the actual way to cure climate change is by doing this and this. No, shh, we're doing this, and we've convinced everybody that this is the thing to do, and it's a lot of money, so shh, jobs are going to be lost. I believe that's more true than anything. That's my take on climate change. My tin hat, I am taking off. Let's see. No one wants the DR associated with. Yes, agreed. That kind of tourism. So Sosua has changed and is never going back. Doug P. Oh, my boy. I hope and think you're right. Doug's an amazing human being. Great seeing you in Santiago, my friend, as always. Oh, I think I owe you a response. Damn it. I get lost in this. Is what people are like, can I get you WhatsApp? I'm like, it's no point. Ask Doug. I'm terrible because I just incoming everywhere. I just can't. I haven't managed that yet. I'm not used to being like this guy that's known. I'm not used to it yet. So I don't have systems in place for how to do it all. Is this Ediberto? Ediberto, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you there. You're late, but you see me. Gossip rumor. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here. What was this? RAF M. I'm excited for the new monorail system. I think public transport and roads will help interconnect the nation. I would love better drainage systems to help reduce flooding in the future. I agree. You know what I wonder, Raf, with this, and I don't know because I don't know any of the space. I agree. You need better drainage systems. But I do wonder sometimes, like when people get nuts about certain areas getting like, oh my God, like not like the bad flooding, but like even here in Punta Cana where there's drainage and still like with enough of a Caribbean rainfall, it's like, what are you going to do? There's an inch of rain on the roads, right? It'll drain. But I do wonder if like nature in this area, like if you could ever have enough drainage for like the worst of it, like, can you logically build enough drainage for the worst possible amount of water that can fall out of the sky in a short period of time in the Caribbean? Does that make sense? Like better. Yes. Santo Domingo needs a lot. They've built so much. They don't have enough areas where water can run off. And I don't know, maybe the answer is yes, like easily. You could have oceans dumping out of the sky and you can make sure that there's no flooding. But I wonder if there is like a space that we have to agree, like, hey, it's the Caribbean, no matter how much we do, and this is the most modern, whatever, it's going to do 90%, but there's going to be 10% of these things that come down that it floods. I don't know. I wondered that recently because we got rain in Melissa on a Friday night, no wind in Punta Cana, but dude, it was like, I've never seen that kind of rain, like that fast, that much. And I walked out of my neighbor's house because it was like, hey, let's just stay in and watch a movie. Walked out of my neighbor's house with my family and I stepped in it to like my ankle. This is my ankle. If it was my foot, I stepped in it to like my ankle. I'm like, what my shoes were soaked. I didn't wear flip-flops like an idiot. So, and then like the next day gone, it was just gone, like completely dry. So I wonder that, like, how much can they do? And maybe somebody knows. You have to educate me. I love learning from other people. Agreed. Sosua is a gold mine. If people can see that nowhere will be safe from gentrification. I'm waiting until certain sellers are willing to take discounts. Then I'm buying all I can afford. Yeah. I mean, that's, again, analytically, I wouldn't, when people are like gentrification is coming. Yes. Agreed. I think the ridiculous points on gentrification comes when it's happening where it's already gentrified. Like when the St. Regis was built in Cap Cana, all these people were like, oh my God, that's so terrible for the locals. I'm like, no, it's in the middle of Cap Cana. They didn't build it in Bedone. They built it like where the rich people go. Like that's already gentrified. It's done. That didn't do anything more. That just brings more rich people who hopefully bring more jobs. Maybe that's a good thing, but you're not taking people out of their homes in Bedone. Maybe it makes the area more expensive. There's an argument for that, but I agree with you, Casanova. See how I did that? We do have to, I mean, that's just what it is. And here's my other belief. I was talking to my kids about this. The wealthy get vilified. Speaking of New York, right? The wealthy get vilified. And there are villainous wealthy people, no doubt about it. What's his name? In the news, Epstein. I mean, come on. There are terrible wealthy people. There are terrible poor people. There are terrible middle-class people. There's also really good wealthy and middle-class and poor people. And man, I'm part of this organization that has a minimum net worth requirement. A lot of wealthy people in that room. And I'll tell you this story about like what wealth can do. I went with a group of guys, about 20 of us, to a women's shelter in Austin, the Joshua Project, I think it was called. Somebody from Austin was on here. Maybe you know that. We went there a few Christmases ago as like a give back to dedicate some time, help them put up Christmas trees. We brought gifts for the kids or whatever. And as we're leaving, one of the guys who's from LA says, guys, look, we've all done really well. We can't just leave here, bringing Christmas trees and Christmas gifts. And on the spot, we went into the app and everybody donated. We donated $120,000 on the spot. People that make money, like Casanova, if you invest and you're making money, those people do really good things, most of them, with that money. Some of them don't. But sometimes I think we get a little too you hear the stories of the evil rich people. It's like DR. You hear the stories of the political corruption, or you hear stories about something bad that happens here, and it becomes the story of the country. It's like, no, that's one thing, right? Not the whole story. I think it's the same thing when it comes to the wealthy. And look, I've been fortunate. So maybe people are like, well, you could say that. My point is, we've given a lot. We've donated a lot. We have 2 boys right now that were found living on the streets for the last few years. We've got them into an apartment now. They've got food. They've got a hired tia. So a woman that goes over every day to make sure they get fed, get to school. We got them in school. These kids don't know how to read or write, 12 and 14. And, people with means can do that sort of thing. So people that go out and buy, like you, Caribbean Casanova, hey, I'm going to buy up a whole bunch of stuff at a discount. It's because you have a wealthy mindset. And a wealthy mindset, in many cases, not in every case, is a mindset of contribution. So that's my take on that. I don't know where I got up on that rant, but there's my little Christmas message. DR has too much of a word of mouth culture. I think it'll be more time. Oh boy, you are Joandra. I just did this video on this, and I said hard news started as gossip 6 seconds before. I've seen this firsthand, and it personally was potentially very damaging to my family at one point. Not like a gossip thing about something, but the story of what happened was not the story of what happened, right? But it became the story, like the most incredible game of Dominican telephone. That is such a true statement. It's very much a word of mouth culture. She said this, it must be true. I'll state it as fact and add one more. That is from A to Z. There's no B through Y. B through Y go away. Just A, Z, done. It is insane. I was talking to my lawyer about this, actually. He's like, yeah, welcome to the Dominican Republic. So that's how that goes. Let's see. Thoughts. Start an MLS and it's voluntary. Already out there, Michael. There is one, and it is, and nobody uses it. Let's see. Doug P. You're too nice, my friend. I think most scientists agree. There we go. With climate change, and the big money has always been against it. But even if there was money to push, at least we get cleaner, not just the US, China, others. No. Climate change is real. The human contribution to climate change. I've never seen the percentage of climate change that's human contribution. I've never seen that. Humans contribute to it. And anecdotally, there's talk about look where humanity started to now. And I get that. That's a very, very compelling graph to look at. But graphs can also be manipulated depending on what you put on the x-axis, right? If I go 0 to 1,000, that's a different slope than if I go 0 to 100. That's a much more robust slope. What I'm saying is and maybe somebody can show it to me. I want to see it. Can you show me where it's agreed upon? Not that climate change exists, not that humans contribute, all agreed. How much is human? How much is human contribution? And then even maybe more than that, how much of it, if the US went all the way down to no emissions, what would that do to the unknown human contribution amount? That's where I go with that. But I'll leave that alone because I know that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. People are like, hey man, I like talking about DR. Let's see what this says. Tony Fox, Sosua is definitely a gold mine. It's one of the reasons you're here. Amazing. I love that. Let's see. Jamie, tried filling out your realtor referral form only for people looking to buy. Do you have a separate form for it? No, just make a note that you're looking to rent. Be lost. But you're right. It is built sort of for buying, but just note that it's for rent. God bless you all. 206 Fresh City. I appreciate that. Rap is back. I don't think we should vilify people. I would love for people to at least learn from other social democratic nations. We can learn from Switzerland, Germany, et cetera. The U.S. Politics reduces this. I don't disagree with that either, Raf. You're spot on. That's the one thing. Conversation about the way other people do things is missing. And honestly, in the U.S., not just politics, society reduces the idea that anywhere else could be as nice. I mean, people look at me living here saying, oh, no, it's great. We love it here. And they're like, that's crazy. It's third world. And they see a news story like power outage or the girl that got killed or that died on the beach, Sudiksha Konanki, that died on the beach in Bávaro, right? Or just, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a couple, an 80-something-year-old couple in Puerto Plata found dead in a hotel. Now, the headline says, let me see if I can find it for you. I'll show you this. This is like in real time. And this is a Dominican publication. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? It was one of the top stories. Oh, here you go. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Again, no. How do I get rid of this? Stop. You guys are watching me do this in real time. Share screen. And then here, share. And I got to add to stage. What a pain, man. Maybe I got to like put a bunch of them up and then I could add them to stage. So here's the headline. German couple found dead in Puerto Plata hotel. Now, if you just see that, and most people only read the headline, it's like, there's that dangerous Dominican Republic again. And again, this is Dominican Today, an English-speaking Dominican publication. I'm not criticizing them, but I'm just saying, like, that's the headline. That's how much more can you put in there? But when you read the story, oops, wait a minute. Where's my story? It's over here. When you read the story, let's go here. Okay, that's hard to read. I got to go over here. Authorities in Puerto Plata are investigating the death of German couple found inside a hotel room as a suspected femicide-suicide. The victims are identified as so-and-so. According to forensics, Dr. Vasquez, Joanna died from mechanical asphyxiation caused by strangulation, while August died from the mechanical asphyxiation due to hanging. So the headline says, German couple found dead in Puerto Plata hotel. The real story is it was a murder-suicide, or at least it seems like it was a murder-suicide. And again, let's let time kind of pass on. Like somebody said earlier, gossip becomes reality very quickly in DR. But from what we could tell, there you go. Let me get rid of the screen, and I see something about Sosua. Let's see. How do I get rid of the screen again? Remove. There we go. What's this say? Right here, next comment. The Sosua Travelers and Lifestyles keeps the reputation and value of the area down, preventing the locals from being able to level up class-wise, since most elevate through real estate appreciation. The Sosua Travelers, this, okay, I got it. And Lifestyles keep the reputation and value of the area down. That's true. I don't there's a few people I see up there, expats that live there, and they go on Instagram or whatever, and they're like, well, the government's done it. They've killed Sosua. Look, and they show you like, no one here. All they wanted to do was get rid of it. And where they go too far is they're like, these women, they just want to make a living. It's like, no. The people taking advantage of those women, meaning like the pimps, the traffickers, like these women, not all of them are just like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go be a prostitute on the North Shore. Like maybe some. A lot of them are forced into that. So like celebrating or like it's the oldest profession, any of that, like I just can't get on board, guys. Maybe some of you can. I don't get it. And to your point, right now their campaign is Sosua's dead, stay away, it's worthless. And you're going to start to see them have to file out because their businesses, other than John again, the Kompai guy, it looks like converting his business to, I don't know about family, but like couples, a retreat, have a drink, whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's getting away from the chica-friendly thing. If he ever was, I think he was. I think he even said it in his videos. But a lot of these guys are just sitting on their laurels, it seems. And I hope that they pivot and say, all right, well, got to cater to a new type of tourist because it is what it is. Maybe it's less money. Maybe it's less fun. I don't know. But it is what it is. What else we got? Michael, historically, thousands of years, CO2 levels, 440 ppm, very low. I've seen that as well. And again, I don't know. I don't know if that's agreed upon, Michael. It might be not. I don't know. But there's a lot to the climate thing. I agree with you, Jamie. Just want younger people to study and have these conversations. Maybe someone else has better ideas than me or you, or maybe I don't have. These are my ideas. I'm sharing them. But that is the best way to progress, dude. I agree with that. I'm assuming you're dude. I'm got like a Raphael in my brain. I agree with that. I think that conversation is an art that's lacking in modern developed society, developed culture, developed countries, not society. That doesn't sound right. What I love here is that conversation exists. It's robust. It's powerful. I love that about this country. That's Sosua Travelers. As Dominican born and raised in DR, I'm ashamed of that terrible kind of business. Yeah, me too. I mean, as anybody, right? Like anybody. It's a shameful business. It's not one I would want to be associated with. I got to try something, you guys. This is like a thing. Does this? Oh, look at that. I didn't know I could do that. I might do this in the future. Like keep the comments up there, then highlight them. Hey, you know what else I can do? Look at this. This doesn't, wait a minute. Hold on. I'll get back to your stuff here, but hold on. No, not there. Here, I can do like trick or treat, even though we're not in Halloween anymore. I could say like and subscribe. Hold on. I got to get rid of the comment. Let me get rid of the comment. See, look at this. Hey, like and subscribe. If you haven't liked and subscribed, actually, when you hit the like button, this thing gets a lot more attention. So I appreciate you doing it. And I can even give you this. Check out the dancing skeleton. Want a candy border? Done. Candy border it is. You have questions? Hey, it's Q&A time, everybody. Hey, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm just kidding. I'm still here. But do this one. Do that one, please. Like, subscribe. All right. I think we're good. It's almost 2:00 Eastern. My clock on my computer is Eastern. My clock on my phone is local time. So 2:44 locally, 1:44 Eastern. I'm going to go do something else with the rest of my afternoon. But I appreciate all of you. I love the conversation. That's what I like, right? We agree, we disagree. We have just like real conversation. If I had an ask of any of you, some of you are tipping and doing it, like, join the inner circle. When you join, you get the email, reply to it. We'll get you in the WhatsApp community. This is a Facebook group as well, but we've learned that like people like WhatsApp more. So it's the more active space. So get in Facebook, but then get in the WhatsApp. Check us out. There's over 500 people in there, which is so cool. And we're doing so many cool things. We're getting discounts to things. It's absolutely insanely awesome. If you get value from my content, you want to figure out a way to get more community, join it. JamieGruber.com. I'll drop it here. JamieGruber.com. It's also at the bottom in the description of this video if you're watching it on replay, which if you're watching this late on replay, God bless you. I appreciate you. The weather's insane. It's a little hot. Right now it is, let's see real quick. I'll tell you, it is, I want to say it's 86, feels like 95. Let's see what it says. Wow. I did not plan that. 86 feels like 95. I got that kind of skill down here. I'm learning this weather, everybody. So have an amazing weekend. We're going to a Battle of the Bands locally, right close to where I live. There's a family event. I paid 2,000 pesos for 4 of us to go to tomorrow. It's really a beautiful place, guys. Like, I know, it's like, oh, presenting this beautiful, whatever. For any of you that are in a position, retired, working, have a business or whatever that can afford, a lifestyle in DR, there's so much. I've never lived in a better place ever. And it has nothing to do with me being, a YouTuber or whatever. It's just, I learned these things from the WhatsApp groups. Like, oh, this is happening. Oh, and by the way, last thing, Wednesday of this week, and I'll share this with you guys right now in case you want to. Wednesday of this week, I got to get my WhatsApp up here. I have a studio that I invested in. I did a video on it that's launching on Wednesday of this week with a soft open from 6 to 8 p.m. If you're in Punta Cana, it is right before IMG on the right in Plaza Salinas is the place for it. Jeffers Studios, 6 to 8. It's catered by Terra Negra, which is a local Mexican place. Great guy. The owner is a member of the Inner Circle. And if you are able to come, just come at 6 p.m. and you can, hold on, copy link address, and you can hang out. We'll hang out. We'll do all of that. It'll be a lot of fun. So if you can come Wednesday night, if you're in Punta Cana, or if there's somebody that you know locally, like send this to them or let them know. Wednesday, 6 p.m., Jeffers Studios. I'm going to drop this link so you have the WhatsApp to the studio. The other thing is, because we're just opening, Eric, who's the lead guy, I'm just a 20% partner, as I said in the video, he's going to do $100 Christmas photo packages. And he's got the 2 sets that'll be set up for you to see if you're able to come. $100, you get 10 edited photos, and he turns them around within 3 days. So if you guys are into it, or if you want to buy the package, but for $100, it's going to go up. I want to do that for a birthday package when I come in March. Do that. Just hit that WhatsApp up. We'll get better systems, but we're just getting launched. Like, that's my mentorship of him. He's like, I got to get this. I'm like, no, dude, we got to get going. We got to launch this thing before Christmas. So we're ready to go. Poor dude's working his butt off. I'm sending him money. I'm doing all these things to try to get things done. But if you guys want to do that, feel free. Or if you're in town, it's free. Come Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. To Jeffers Studios on Plaza Salinas, right before IMG on the right-hand side. And with that, I appreciate this. This is how I'm going to end it on this. Listen to El Gringo. It's value. Yeah. Hope to see you around. Hope to see you in the Inner Circle every Friday, noon Eastern. I'll be here for you live. I appreciate all of you. Have a great day, everybody.